Hey guys, Predzilla here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be talking about some more Godzilla vs. Kong concept art. But before we jump into the concept art that we have for today, I do want to mention a friend of mine has made his own concept art of what he thinks Doug's full body design would look like. So write down in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with this thought. I'm sure he would be very appreciative of any feedback. Personally, I don't think this is how Doug's full body design would look like, but I don't want to waste any time describing on how I think Doug would look. So jumping into the official concept art, we have concept art of a Titan creature that never made it into Godzilla vs. Kong. This looks terrifying. It reminds me so much of one of the Skull Island creatures from Peter Jackson's King Kong 2005. This would definitely go with that movie. And I would have liked to have seen this in the movie. I think it's pretty interesting. I did see another concept art that I unfortunately don't have images for, of how like this creature hunts. Like it lays its mouth completely flat on the ground and it's like underground. And then when the prey walks on its mouth, it like kind of shuts as a trap. I think that's pretty cool. It's kind of like something that you would see. I would pretty sure like a underwater creature would do, because I think there's like underwater creatures that do stuff like that all the time for when they're hunting their prey. So I think that's pretty cool. But moving on, we have concept art of the Mothra egg that was unfortunately cut from the film. We also see the Mothra twins here as well. I believe the name of the one is Dr. Chen from King of the Monsters, and her sister was also in King of the Monsters, but I don't remember her name. So that is very unfortunate that the Mothra egg and those two were cut from the film. We did know like a while back, like before we had any news about Godzilla vs. Kong, that the actor who played Dr. Chen and played Dr. Chen's sister, which is pretty interesting, was going to be returning for Godzilla vs. Kong, which is obviously now not the case, and at least we get an idea of what the context of her being back was going to be, and that probably was going to be a possible like end credit scene with showing the Mothra egg and whatnot, or possibly a post-credit scene. I think because we do know that the end scene of Godzilla vs. Kong, where Kong is in the Hollow Earth and it ends with him being his chest and whatnot, that was supposed to be a end credit scene, but is basically a post-credit scene because it's obviously before the credits. So I guess the Mothra could have been a end credit scene, but it was unfortunately cut. That sucks. That would have been really cool to see. But moving on, we have concept art of a scroll crawler trying to break out of its cell in the Apex facility. We also see the scroll crawler eggs and a human that I think is possibly Ren Serizawa. I can't tell for sure, obviously, because I can't see the face. But that's just who it looks like, just for telling the back of the head and, the back of the body and whatnot, the back part of the human. It just reminds me of Ren Serizawa, so that's what I'm assuming. Next we have 3 concept arts of Godzilla blasting his atomic breath into the Hollow Earth, which all 3 look incredible. All 3 of these are possibly my favorite Godzilla vs. Kong concept art so far. One of them I actually have on the background of my other iPad because I just like it so much. I was going to use one of the other ones, but that one's a bit blurry, so that wouldn't have came out well, so I ended up using the other one that looks pretty similar to that. Also, I want to mention that it's interesting that the artist used Godzilla 2014's dorsal fins, or something very similar, which is a pretty common thing that I see in the concept art. I'm not sure 100% why the artists do that. It might be because those dorsal fins are like way more easier to do, or like something very similar to that is very easy to do, since it's just like kind of spikes. Instead of like the more traditional kind of Godzilla dorsal fins that Godzilla has and Godzilla now has in the MonsterVerse. So I imagine this makes it just much more easier than once it gets put into the movie and the VFX artists start working on it, and then they do the actual design for Godzilla. So that's probably just like a placeholder kind of thing for the art, which it still looks really cool. So I like it. Next we have concept art of Kong climbing out of the hollow earth hole made by Godzilla, which looks pretty cool. We don't see the axe here, I don't think, if I can remember correctly, because I'm obviously not looking at the art right now, so I can't remember for sure, but I don't think Kong has the axe in this concept art, which the reason why I bring that up is because I don't think we have any concept art of the Kong axe, which is pretty interesting. I mean, I would imagine that there is, I just haven't seen any at all. I'm sure those who own the art of Godzilla vs. Kong, which I don't, would know for sure if there's concept art of the axe or not. So if you have it, please let me know, because I'm interested to know if there is concept art of the axe, because I would like to see it. But next we have, from here on out, we have Mechagodzilla concept art. The first one that we have is of Mechagodzilla roaring, which looks really awesome. Next we have three, what I believe is 3D renders of Mechagodzilla. I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what these are. We have one side view of Mechagodzilla, and Mechagodzilla is glowing, which looks really cool. We also see a bit of a front view of Mechagodzilla, and Mechagodzilla is not glowing here. We also see some difference in the model. There's like a bit of like a hinge on the wrist that is not on the actual design for Mechagodzilla. I don't think it is anyways, but I'm pretty sure it's not. And then we have another side view of Mechagodzilla, but with Godzilla, and both of the models have no texture, so they're all kind of like lightly grayed out. But I mean, either way, it still looks pretty cool. But next we have concept art of Godzilla and Mechagodzilla fighting, which looks pretty cool. This one looks very similar to one that we've already seen before. Well, mainly the Godzilla part of it looks very familiar. The Mechagodzilla part, not necessarily, but it still has some similarity to another concept art. And also, that concept art has them glowing, like Godzilla glowing all blue, and Mechagodzilla glowing all red, obviously. This one doesn't have them glowing, and the camera is kind of like flipped. So, I mean, either way, it looks pretty cool, and I like it. And next we have two versions of a concept art of Mechagodzilla and Godzilla about to battle it out. The one is more of a darker neon colored version, and the other one is a more of a early morning colored version. Next we have possibly a few more 3D renders of Mechagodzilla. The first one we have is a close-up of Mechagodzilla's face, which looks really cool. And we also have a close front view of Mechagodzilla. And the other one is another close kind of front view of Mechagodzilla. On this one, I don't remember if it's the same on the other ones, but the dorsal fins on this one, like the ones close to the head, look very tall, and I don't think that's how that looks in the film. So that is possibly a model difference, which is, I don't know, interesting. Possibly, someone might find that interesting. I don't really find it that interesting. It kind of irritates me that it's actually that tall, but that's just like a personal grudge that I have against it. No offense to the artist, by the way. But next we have terrifying Mechagodzilla concept art, and this is actually finally a concept art that looks totally different from the Mechagodzilla that we get in the film. So that is very awesome. This looks very skeletal and actually has hands, which I don't know why, but all the concept art that we have with Mechagodzilla that has hands, because we do have more Mechagodzilla with hands, I don't like it. I don't know why. It's the claw hands have grown on me so much. Every time I see Mechagodzilla without the claw hands, it bothers me for some reason. It just doesn't feel normal anymore. So I just can't see Mechagodzilla without the claw hands anymore. And I do like the concept of the claw hands, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but I'm one of the very few. But it is what it is. Everyone has their opinions. I don't really like the dorsal fins that are on this concept art, and I don't really like the concept art in general. I'm not a huge fan of it. Again, nothing against the artist. I mean, it's still cool. I just not a fan of this design. Like, this is one I would want Mechagodzilla to look in the movie. I mean, if that's how Mechagodzilla did look in the movie, I mean, it is what it is. But this compared to what we got, I like what we got much more. Next we have three concepts of Mechagodzilla firing his atomic breath. The one looks a lot more like lightning, which I feel like connects more with Ghidorah, and I think that'd be pretty cool, which we did have lightning on Mechagodzilla's atomic beam is what I like to call it, because it's not necessarily a breath like kind of natural with Godzilla. It's more, artificial since it's a robot. So I think atomic beam sounds cooler, but that's just me. But I think that would have connected more with the Ghidorah, but we did have a bit of an electric effect on the atomic beam that we got in the film, though nowhere near as much as this, because this is just actually like a lightning strike or lightning beam or whatever you want to call it. That's red. And then the other two are more beam-like, but still have the electric vibe to it, I guess is what you could say. But nowhere near as much as what we got in the movie, which is fine, as long as it did have some electric parts of it to connect with Ghidorah. It's still pretty cool. Next we have two interesting Mechagodzilla concepts. The first one, I believe, is a exoskeleton of Mechagodzilla, and I believe the second one is like everything else added on to the exoskeleton, the dorsal fins, the other parts of the armor, I guess is what you could call it, and you get what I mean. I'm not a huge with this one either, but I think I like this one more than I did the other concept art. But next we have an early Mechagodzilla concept, another exoskeleton, I believe, or possibly it's just that the concept art was unfinished, because this is a early Mechagodzilla concept, so it might have never have been finished. This one is pretty cool looking, but it also has some very interesting claw hands. I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I had a thought about this, but I wonder if they dropped the idea of the claw hands and then brought it back up. But I'm not 100% sure on that, because we do know that multiple people worked on the Mechagodzilla design, and I don't know if they really like communicated and worked together on it, because I believe one of the guys that worked on it said that they didn't really communicate when working on the Mechagodzilla design, and I don't know how that would have really worked. I don't know how it worked at all. If it was like, make your own concept art and then show it to whoever, and they pick which concept art they like the most, and that's the one that's going to be in the movie. It could have been like that. I don't know. But I like to think that they had the claw hand idea, and then they dropped it and then brought it back. That's what I like to think anyways, but like I said, that's just me. If that's not the case, then it is what it is. But next we have very awesome Mechagodzilla concept art, and I think this one, out of all of the Mechagodzilla concept art that look nothing like the design that we got in the movie, I think this one is my favorite. I just really like the way this one looks. I'm not entirely a huge fan of the dorsal fins on this one, though, but that is just me. I like the dorsal fins that we get for the Mechagodzilla in Godzilla vs. Kong. It feels more robotic to me, the rectangle-shaped dorsal fins. I like it more than the more kind of Godzilla-looking dorsal fins. I know not everyone else feels the same way, but it is what it is. But moving on, we have concept art of the Mechagodzilla blueprints, and this is the same Mechagodzilla design that we were just previously talking about. My opinion is still the same on this design, but in addition, I think the arms are a bit small, or possibly the chest is just a bit too big. Definitely one of the two. I think it might be the arms being too small. And again, with the hands, seeing Mechagodzilla without claws anymore, it just drives me nuts. I'm sure once we have another official Mechagodzilla design in the next 20 years or whatever, once that one most likely has hands, I'll probably end up, liking it more. Maybe, I don't know, it's just, I'm more comfortable with the claw hands now, and it's weird seeing Mechagodzilla without the claw hands. I mean, with all the other official Mechagodzilla designs, it doesn't feel weird, but anything else is just, I with these concept arts, it's like, I don't like it. Nope. Pass, full pass. But I still like this Mechagodzilla design. Next lastly we have, for this video, we have internal mechanism concepts of the Mechagodzilla design, and this is again the same Mechagodzilla design that we were just talking about, but not really a entirely good look at it, just like the internal mechanisms as this concept art is supposed to be. I'm not sure why the Mechagodzilla metal and whatnot is all green, but I'm pretty sure that's probably just like a placeholder color for the moment. But I still think it's pretty cool, although there's not really much to go off of it. But that is unfortunately it for today. Pretty long video since we had a lot of concept art to go over, so this video is going to be very fun to edit. I can't wait for that. But anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.